In the beautiful Juba, there is a courtyard restaurant from the east. The courtyard is a treasure of traditional Chinese architecture, carrying a deep cultural heritage and family emotions. The courtyard inherits the family warmth and cultural memory of thousands of years. Walk into the courtyard and feel the charm of Chinese culture. The courtyard is deep and delicious. Come to the courtyard restaurant and meet a date between taste buds and nature. The decoration of the restaurant is unique, creating a unique atmosphere. Are you still worried about finding delicious food? Come to Sun Valley to meet all your expectations. On one side of the courtyard, a tree with flowers and a table of delicious food. Everything in the world, only delicious food and beautiful scenery can be lived up to. Sun Valley, a wonderful journey for taste buds. Here, every dish is a carefully cooked work of art. From the selection of fresh ingredients, to the unique cooking skills, to the exquisite arrangement, all of them show our persistence and love for food. Entering our restaurant, you will be attracted by the Sun Valley. Whether it is warm lights, comfortable seats, or unique decoration, it will create a relaxing and pleasant dining environment for you. Our service team is warm and thoughtful, always paying attention to your needs and making you feel at home. Come to Sun Valley and let delicious food and beauty meet. Address Gure, next to Mary Queen Church. Order phone number 09-280-76300.
President Kiir approved crisis food airdrop for conflict-affected Nasser Ulang populations. Government stressed continued obligation to peace agreement ahead of elections. Variety of food and non-food items has been donated to orphans on marketing African Day. A very good afternoon. Welcome to SSBC News coming to you live in our studio headquarters. My name is Mayiriam Yok. We begin our news for this afternoon with major humanitarian developments. President Salva Kiir has approved a large-scale emergency food airdrop to assist thousands of people in urgent need across Afan State. The airdrop operations target Ulang and Nasser County, areas severely affected by the recent outbreak of violence, leaving many families displaced without access to basic needs. SSBC Aliando Lotok report from the State House.
With growing concern over the humanitarian crisis unfolding in parts of Upper Nile, President Salva Kiir Mayardit has now thrown his full support behind a rapid response food assistance campaign. The initiative, laid out in a detailed report presented at the State House, aims to deliver life-saving aid to communities cut out by conflict and instability. The report, delivered by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, outlines a joint effort between the government and international partners to begin airdropping essential food supplies into hard-hit areas of Ulang and Nasser counties.
And this project is about food assistance to the affected populations in Nasser and Ulang as a result of the recent incident in Nasser, which caused a lot of displacement to the people there, and they remain vulnerable. And the support will be in terms of about 600 metric tons of food items to be dropped by air to these areas that I have just mentioned. It is worth mentioning that this food assistance will be phase one, and then the other phases will follow. So we want to thank His Excellency General Salva Kiir Mayardit for this support to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and the RRC, so that we support the vulnerable people. These directives His Excellency the President gave us through the Office of VP of Economic Cluster, who also exerted a lot of effort to make sure that these food are purchased and are brought.
Meanwhile, the president also hosted the high-level diplomatic talks with Norwegian Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, Endre Stiansen. The two discussed South Sudan's path to peace, reconciliation and democratic transition. The Norwegian envoy praised the president's openness and underscored the importance of dialogue in healing divisions ahead of the upcoming elections.
Which is an indication of Norway's continued commitment to South Sudan and also the good bilateral relation between our two countries. The President gave me a broad overview of the current situations. He gave a frank assessment of the various challenges you are facing now and his ideas for how to go forward. For my part, I stressed the need for a dialogue to resolve issues, and I talked about the way to create a conducive environment when elections take place. All in all, we had, as I said, a frank exchange, a good exchange, and we look forward to a very continued close collaboration to meet the challenges in an inclusive manner.
The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Akwaibona Malwal, who attended the meeting, hailed Norway as a long-standing friend of South Sudan. He noted that discussions also touched on the broader security landscape and the steps being taken to ensure a credible electoral process.
You all know Norway is a historical friend of the South Sudan, and the envoy comes to review with the president the overall situation, and as he said, they talked about the elections, and he will be coming again to also see how we are preparing for the election and the political situation that will lead to a free and fair election.
As South Sudan braces for critical elections and works to stabilize its most vulnerable regions, today's developments underscore a dual commitment to feed the hungry and to forge a peaceful path toward peace. Alejandro Lotok, SSB.
By President for Gender, Youth and Sport Cluster, Rebecca Nyadeng Demabur, as conveyed with the Norwegian Special Envoy to South Sudan and Sudan, Endre Stiansen, to deliberate on the country's pressing security and humanitarian challenges facing South Sudan. Following the meeting, Special Envoy Stiansen stated that the discussion focused on exploring inclusive and sustainable solutions to the ongoing crisis affecting communities across the country.
Yes, first I want to say that I'm very happy to be back in Juba, and I'm especially happy to meet with Rebecca. We go back, to the CPA period, and we've always been able to approach the challenges facing the people of South Sudan, this country, in a common way, looking for good, inclusive solutions. We discussed then the current political situation. We agreed it's a serious situation, but it's also possible to move forward, provided it's done in a collaborative, inclusive way, and at all costs, unilateral action should be avoided. This is not the first time that South Sudan is in a crisis, and I think working together, taking the leadership of people like Madam Rebecca.
The government has reaffirmed its commitment to fully implementing the Revitalize Peace Agreement as the country prepares for national elections scheduled for December 2026. Despite ongoing political challenges, the coalition government says it is working on a strategy to enforce the peace process and ensure credible, peaceful election. This assurance follows a meeting between the Secretary of the High-Level Standing Committee for the Implementation of the Peace Agreement, Minister of Cabinet Affairs Dr. Martin Elias Lomro, and the Norwegian envoy to South Sudan, Endre Stiansen. The discussion focused on practical steps to provide the sterling implementation process to complete the remaining provision of the 2018 peace accord accumulating in election without any further extension of the transitional period. Minister Lomro also acknowledged regional and international concern regarding the current political situation, ensuring that the country's judiciary is equipped to address ongoing legal matters.
Strategy to rescue the country and to move the country forward, including completion of the ongoing and outstanding provisions of the agreement so that we can take the country to elections. We have assured him that this time around there is no plan to make an extension and that we are moving forward to make sure that the country is transformed democratically, and that we believe very strongly that only elections can resolve the challenges of our country. He's also raised the concerns of the international community with regards to current situation, the detentions, the arrests of the members of the IO, and I've assured him that the Ministry of Justice, Constitutional Affairs, is working tirelessly to make sure that this case is judiciously addressed in order for us to alleviate the fears of the international community.
I emphasized the importance of dialogue. I emphasized the importance of having good, conducive relations with the international community. I think we see a lot in common, and specifically on the elections, we talked about the conducive environment so that the elections can take place as now.
The Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Maria Dongrin Ater, engaged in extensive discussion with the British Ambassador to South Sudan, David Ashela, regarding the country's current economic challenges following a disruption of the oil pipeline due to ongoing conflict in neighboring Sudan between the National Army and the Rapid Support Force. In a media briefing following the meeting, Ambassador Ashley highlighted the discussion emphasized on the strengthening public finance management reforms, stressing the need to effectively channel available resources toward critical sectors such as education, health, agriculture, and humanitarian service, especially in the light of declining international funding and growing challenges triggered by the climate change and insecurity in the region.
We discussed the economic situation in the country. Clearly, South Sudan continues to feel the effects of the disruption to the oil pipeline as a result of the war in Sudan, as well as other factors. We discussed the importance of public financial management reform, its own resources to support its people. That is going to become even more important as international aid gradually reduces. So making sure that we have peace here, which is obviously the basis for development, and that more and more resources are devoted to the sectors which benefit the population. So we're talking about health, we're talking about education, we're talking about humanitarian affairs. And I can assure you that those are the sectors that the UK will continue to support and contribute.
Our viewers, let's go for a short break. We shall be right back. Surely stay tuned. Welcome back from that short break. You're still watching SSBC News. In a renewed call for national progress, the SPLM third deputy chairperson Simon Konpoch has reiterated the SPLM's directive to place unity and reconciliation at the forefront of the country's agenda. Speaking during an event held in his honor, Kwon Poch emphasized that sustainable development and effective service delivery are only possible in the peaceful and united South Sudan. As he continued to engage citizens across the country, the SPLM third deputy chairperson is focusing on raising awareness about the party's vision and mission, urging all South Sudanese to set aside their differences and work together in rebuilding the nation.
Salam, نشوف بلدنا ماشي وين نشوف بلدنا ماشي وين لأن يا بتاع الجيل الصغير يا جماعة ندور له فرصة الجيل الصغير ندور له فرصة جنب تابعني.
South Sudan is a multi-party country. We have a number of parties and we need to work together. So I came here today to show you that we all work together. We have signed the agreement, we are signatory to the agreement, and we are working together until today. And I'm always happy to be with you and for us to work together.
إحنا دايرين نؤكد لكم استقرار بتاع البلد ده استقرار بتاعنا إحنا كلنا. أنا بقول إنه سايمون كون هيقدر يستقر SPLM وحكومة ذاته هيستفيد وراه.
After an extended recess, the reconstituted Transitional National Legislative Assembly is scheduled to reopen on 9 June 2025 with national budget for the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year set to top the agenda. Parliamentary spokesperson Holabere Maurice Benjamin has called on all members of the National Parliament and the Council of State to attend the opening session in person. In related development, the spokesperson also confirmed to SSBC that the Speaker of the Parliament, Juma Nuno Kumbo, has traveled to Tanzania to take part in the East African Speakers Bureau meeting, an important forum to regional parliamentarian collaboration.
After the long recess of the Transitional National Legislative Assembly, which lasted almost for 5 months, finally a decision has been reached and that the Parliament will resume on Monday, the 9th of June 2025. So all honorable members are requested to report to the Parliament to attend the opening session. And the opening session, of course, includes the Council of State and the National Legislative Assembly, or in brief, it is the National Legislature. Secondly, the Right Honorable Speaker Dr. Juma Nuno Kumbo this afternoon left for Tanzania to attend the East African Speakers Bureau meeting, which will last for 3 days in Tanzania. And in this particular mission or visit to participate in that Bureau meeting, Right Honorable Nuno Kumbo will explain to the speakers from the East African community about the political.
The government, in collaboration with its development partners, has officially launched the Youth-Led Peace and Security Strategy during a ceremony held in Juba on Friday. In his keynote address, the Secretary of the Ministry of Peace Building, Philip Michael, called on peace partners to sustain their support for youth programs across the country. And the Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sport, Deborah Akech, stressed the importance of the strategy in empowering young people toward meaningful contributing to the nation's economic development. Kedendi Abraham, representing the humanitarian coordinator, highlighted that the strategy is a reflection of the diverse voice and aspiration of the young South Sudanese working toward peaceful and prosperous future.
The strategy has gone through a proper refinement. We did a consultation in the 10 states and 3 administrative areas, talking to the young people. We have also established some youth forums in some states. that is still going on. In Malakal, in Awin, we also have in Bentiu, we have here in Juba. So there are a number of states where we have established this Youth Peace Forum that will continue even after the life of this project. Also, this document has an implementation plan. And I want to request all our partners who are here that as you look at the last page of this document, you will see an implementation plan. And that implementation plan helps us to do very simple things. For example, if you want the young people to participate in South Sudan, we need to establish youth councils at the local level and the state level. And
youth plus security, we will have peace. Why do I bring that mathematical explanation? It's because the people that are involved in our fighting in our communities, even in our political misunderstanding, the people who fight are the youth. They are the ones who go and kill each other. And if embrace peace, if they embrace themselves as youth, as one people of this country, we will have total peace.
The Youth Peace Security Strategy covers key areas, including participation in economic development, ensuring a comprehensive response to the diverse needs of youth across South Sudan. Where young people are empowered, peace is more sustainable. Communities are more resilient.
The South Sudan Revenue Authority has taken a significant step toward enhancing transparency and accountability in revenue collection by introducing comprehensive ethical code of conduct for its staff. Speaking at the program's conclusion, Commissioner for Corporate Service Division, Kiri Yorwal, representing the Commissioner General, noted that the program aligned with the broader national report to improve public finance management and strengthen revenue enforcement mechanism. You reiterate the authority's dedication to institutional integrity and efficient service delivery. The program brought together both senior and junior officers from the authority, emphasizing the shared commitment to professionalism. Commissioner of the Internal Affairs Division, Joyce William Wani, encouraged the participants to maintain high ethical standards in execution of their duties.
Because I have been told there were different categories, and this is being one of the last category of participants. The first one was on Tuesday, which was attended by senior leadership, and the second one by the middle-ranking officials, and this being the last. All our day-to-day activities requires us to engage with our colleagues, with our stakeholders, most of the times. And when we interact with people, there are always issues of integrity, whatever we do. So it is important that we know about all this, starting with the core values of the institution.
And you who have come here, I said, you are leaders at your respective levels, being departmental, being units, you are leaders. And whatever knowledge that you get here, please, when you go back, go and preach it to your subordinates so that they get to understand what is all about the code of conduct, about the staff regulation, and the other laws.
The training is wonderful. It is overdue. I said before, I've been here for 2 years. I should have received it the first 3 months I came here, but it is great I got it today. You have a very wonderful team of trainers. Extend it down to the revenue officers, especially the newly recruited members. We have difficulties.
Let's go for a short break. Our viewers, stay tuned for the rest of news coming up next. Welcome back from that short break. You're still watching SSBC News. To continue with our news, in a gesture of solidarity and support, the African Diplomatic Corps has donated a barrel of food and non-food items to the Juba Orphanage Home, currently hosting 82 orphanage children. The donation was made as a part of the African Day celebration held in Juba, emphasizing the importance of caring for the continent is most vulnerable while honoring its history and identity. Speaking at the event, the head of African Union Mission to South Sudan, Ambassador Jerome Boswaro, reflected on the long-lasting impact of historic injustice and colonization, which have left millions of Africans in poverty, and highlighting the significance of collective responsibility in shaping a better future. The Minister of Gender, Child and Social Welfare for Central Equatorial State, Zandia Elisa, commends the African Diplomatic Corps for their support.
So it decided to forge together that because of this injustice that this African and the descendants have gone through, there must be a reparation. People being rewarded what they suffered as a result of this injustice, be it slavery, colonialism, and neo-colonialism. This theme will continue to resonate among the Africans throughout the year in various forms.
وأنا سعيدة جدا لأنه أنتوا أديتونا الدعم، لأنه صحيح الأطفال زي ديل بيحتاج إنه الزول اللي بيرعاهم، داير الزول اللي يمثل، دايرين نخليهم عشان يحسس إنه عندهم عندهم أب في الدنيا. بالمثال جاياتكم قدامهم هنا وعيونهم فيكم انتوا وبالاشياء الحسنه جبتوا موجود قدامنا هنا بخليهم يحسوا بفرح.
But in our previous meetings, African ambassadors have decided instead of celebrating this Africa Day by organizing cocktail reception and some other events, it's much worse and better to come to this orphanage and deliver these items on behalf of the African ambassador. That's why we are
moving to Malakal, the capital of Nile State, where Governor James Kwang Chol has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to expanding grassroots access to essential services such as education, healthcare, and clean water as security conditions continue to improve across the state. Governor Chol made the remark during a security meeting aimed at assessing the current situation and outlining development priorities. Speaking to the media following the meeting, the newly appointed State Minister of Information, Peter Mongnyak Amon, elaborated on the discussions, highlighting the renewed focus on service delivery and community development.
Held the meeting at Secretariat General here in Malakal. The meeting headed by the Governor, Lieutenant General James Kwang Chol. The meeting discussed several issues concerning the general situation in the state, and the memos presented by ministers. The Minister of Rural Development and Cooperative presented a framework to the Council of Ministers, and that framework was postponed due to the new members of the Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers also passed the last sitting of the Council of Ministers, the fourth sitting of the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers also passed the emolument, which was one of the resolutions in the Council of Ministers for the past meeting. Council of Ministers also agreed on the plan presented by the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports for the sports activities in the state, and that one was divided into steps because of lack of the resources. We, the government of Upper Nile State, will reaffirm our commitment in making sure the security and stability is prevailed in all 13 counties of the state. For me, as the new Minister of Information and Communication, for the first 100 days in office, I want to make sure the SSBC radio station in Malakal is operating. I want also to deploy the reporters for the various ministries.
Stakeholders have gathered for 4 days program organized by the Greater Pioneer Operating Company GFOC to address ongoing challenges faced by communities in the country's oil-producing areas. The discussion focused on environmental concerns and improving relations between oil companies and local residents. Speaking at the event, GFOC Community Development Director Philip Mawen reaffirmed the company's commitment to fostering strong and positive relations with communities impacted by oil operation. GFOC Director of Planning Simon Chol emphasized the importance of training and capacity building program as a key to achieving sustainable development and long-term community well-being.
But GFOC this year said that we have to tell what CD means. We have to share to console our community about the plan of CD. We need ideas, contribution of the community, so that CD must work based on what the community needs. And then we need our public relationship between GFOC and the community should be very smooth when we understand that we are working together as one team.
It is good that we as the government and you the people, plus our brothers in GFOC, sit together and do what we can do in a very responsible manner without blaming game. GFOC is our entity. It is honest. Let us help them doing due diligence, environmental impact assessment, social impact assessment, such that the little resource they have, which are allocated for community development, will be utilized properly for the common good of the people of the oil producing area.
And so after I assess community development and understand how our community breathes, then I find it is necessary for us to come together so that we change view and idea to how we can better work together and then allocate the little resources that we have, much with community need.
On behalf of the technical team working in the studio, my name is Mayram Yok. Stay tuned for the rest of the program coming up. Thanks for watching SSBC News.